All right, good evening and welcome to the Franchise Time Machine. So, in this, on Monday nights, I would usually do the team NSFW, the Not Safe for Work player names. But with some people and some changes to the schedule today, I decided to kind of offer up some drops um, earlier than I usually go on. And so, um, I don't really want to put that content out at 8:30 or almost 9 o'clock Pacific. Usually I start at 10:30 Pacific. So I'm going to do something a little bit different today. Two main things. The first is the live updates came out overnight. And so if you play live tournaments, you may have noticed that your rosters are missing players. That's because they've been promoted or demoted out of, well, I guess only promoted out of eligibility because you can always play players below your level. So I need to do some roster rebuilding, and I thought I might as well do that on stream in case there are people interested in. Um, well, first, to remind people, hey, redo your live rosters. You'll be missing players, but also maybe some newer players might be interested in seeing how another person builds rosters. I don't claim to be an expert. There are people way smarter than I am, and people who have very, very complicated and apparently effective models. Um, I don't do modeling so much as I do create. I don't create. I don't do analytical models. What I do is when I start to get a sense of what attributes are more important over the course of this cycle, and I've only been doing this since December of PT24, but it's been effective. So, for example, last PTCS cycle, I qualified. I have 6 teams, and each one focuses on a level. So I qualified 2 in iron, 2 in bronze, and 2 in silver. So they all qualified in the tournaments they play, and I qualified 3 in daily draft. So while I'm not an expert, I do have some, I think, things I do that are effective that help me qualify for PTCS and do well in some tournaments. And I've been focusing on the live tournaments because um, I was late to the game in combinators, and live has no combinators, so it's been a good way to still remain competitive and still get to do drafts and not feel like I'm gonna get beat up by an all combinator team, and also grab enough PTCS points where I can qualify and get some of those early round cards. And that's been a lot of fun. So I thought I'd do that on stream. In fact, the 5 minutes it'll let you make roster changes until the game starts. So you get like I think 10 minutes till the tournament fires. I think about another 20 until the rosters will be locked. I hope I'm right about that. Otherwise, I'm going to be putting in a partial roster into the tournament, which I don't like doing. Not just because I have no chance of winning, but it also kind of screws over the other people in the tournament too, who are expecting, the person I'm playing to face a competitive team, and so I want to do that. Then the other thing I want to do tonight is I launched a new project called Franchise Favorites, and this is based on something I've always done in the base game, which is, and I think most people, who play the base game probably do some version of this, which is, you find your favorite team and you tinker with it. And so here's what I'm working on. Hold on, I have to link it back to my. There we go. Okay. All right. So there's 30 teams in the majors, 30 franchises, and I'm going to take the Mets because they're my favorite team, and I'm going to build a 26-person roster of my favorite Mets of all time. Not necessarily like the greatest Mets of all time, but for each one, I get to pick which season, and it has to be season they played with the Mets. And so here's an example of how it'll be favorites and not just all time greatest. Nolan Ryan's my favorite pitcher. He was not good while he was with the Mets, but if I pick him, I have to pick a season with the Mets. Well, I want to see him pitch with all these other Mets I like. So he's going to be on the team. He's not going to be good because it'll be very early in his career where his control was not there. But I want to see him play, and so he's going to be on my team. And initially, I thought, maybe I'll do one a week until I have all 30 done. But then I started mentioning to people, and people are interested in doing this. I guess, because like I said, I think people do this all the time. Either they think about it or they even go and sim it in the base game. So I first started with some um, people in the affiliate streamer community, the OOTP community. And I said, here's what I'm proposing. You give me a 26-man roster of your favorite players from your favorite team and the year you want for each one. And I'll go ahead and sim it on my stream. And actually, I don't think I've had anyone say they weren't interested. Every single person has said yes, most of them enthusiastically so. Some have already even sent me their initial rosters. Um, so to give you an idea of what that looks like, here are some of the people who've already said yes. So Paul Sporer from OOTP and Fangraphs. He, of course, is known as being a Tigers fan. He's going to do a Tigers roster of his favorite players for me. Dr. Dynastic. I'm going to skip around a little bit, but like in particular, Dr. Dynastic, EVC and NYC, and Laptop Hound. Those are three OOTP affiliate streamers who I started watching when I started playing Perfect Team in December. And I think they're great. They're great for the community. They put out fantastic content. They care about the community, and they had a lot to do with why I got hooked on Perfect Team. And so I reached out to them very early, and they've all been very supportive, and they're going to give me rosters of for Dr. Dynastic, it's the Athletics. For VC and NYC, it's the Dodgers, and for Laptop Hound, it's the Blue Jays. And if you watch any of the streams, you know how passionate they are about those particular teams. And so I'm really looking forward to seeing who they pick. Um, and then some of the newer streamers who became affiliates. I guess I'm kind of the tail end of this wave of newer affiliates, OTP affiliates, but Cheeky, Twins 34, and um, the Nolan Network podcast. Right, I just have him as Nolan on here, but and I'm on there as Franchise Time Machine. So Cheeky's gonna do the Padres. Twins is going to do the Twins. No surprise there. Nolan's going to do the Mariners, and I'm going to do the Mets. Um, and then other people in the community have been super supportive. Uh, D-Block, I should actually probably put in that initial wave of affiliate streamers who really made an impression on me early on. But he's going to do the Royals. Um, even though he's German, he lived in Kansas and became a Royals fan. And so he's going to do a Royals roster for us. And then Nasbase, who I've started watching his stream regularly recently, and he's a great streamer too. You should check him out as well. I found out recently he's a Phillies fan, so perfect. We didn't have anyone representing the Phillies, and he's agreed to do a Phillies roster. Um, and then I don't think they stream, but Fussmucker, who has regularly been guesting on Lap's show, doing live update and live spec. So that's when people speculate on cards going up and down. So you want to sell your cards that are about to go down in level, and you want to buy cards that are about to go up in level. He's been really great on those episodes, and I found out he's a big time Yankees fan. And so he's agreed to do Yankees for us. And then D King 395 is going to do the Rays for us. So yeah, we're slowly building towards all 30. We should be able to do it between the affiliates and viewers. I think there's plenty of people who are going to be passionate about their team to be willing to do this. And so each one submits a roster, 26 players and the year they want. I'll put them into the here. I'll show you how you do it. I do it. I create this notepad file. You can do it in anything that can generate a TXT file. Let me pull one up real quick. preemptive reboot of my system before I streamed, and I didn't do it because I went on early, and now I'm kind of wishing I had things slow. Um, okay, here we go. This should let me pull it up. Nope. I do it in Notepad, like I said. You can do it in anything that can generate a TXT file. And the reason it has to be TXT is that's what OOTP will let you upload um, to submit a roster. So the way it works is you can select individual players, or you can upload a TXT file. Um, and I'll show you how I have it formatted. Okay, so here's an example. This is Nolan, the Nolan Network Podcast's TXT file that I created based on what he sent me. So he sent me the player names and the years, and I looked up the player ID. And over the course of this, and it's in my VODs, so you can see how I do this, but you can, easiest place to find them is on baseballreference.com. And it's a comma delimited list. So it goes player ID, comma, the year you want, comma, and then the destination. And for each team, we know that we're going to replace, the existing team. So for Seattle, it's SEA. And so we do that, right? So that's the file we're going to create for each one. And yeah, so and some of them, like Twins, actually sent me in the text format, so it was already ready to upload. So it was perfect. So once we have that, we can upload the team into the 2023 season and run the sim. And we did a test sim last night. It was super fun. We put in we created a season. We added Twins 34's Twins team and Nolan's Mariners team. And to distinguish them, and this is easy to do in the game, you can go in and change. Here, I can actually show you what it looked like. But anyway, you can tell which ones had been changed because we changed the team name from Mariners to Nolan's Mariners. And hey, PB Easton, thank you for the raid. I appreciate it. I was actually listening to some of that home run derby. Welcome to the franchise time machine. Let me get you caught up here. Here's what we're doing today. So I started a new project called Franchise Favorites. This is where, uh, for any given franchise, hey, EVC and NYC, two, not zero, not one, but two, the main EVC and NYC. Welcome to the chat. Welcome to the stream. It is either really late for you or super early for you, EVC. So this project is called Franchise Favorites, and what it is um, I think everyone probably does some version of this in the base game. If you play base game, you find your favorite um, team, and if you can figure out how to do it, you import your favorite players from across time to play them together. And if you haven't been able to figure out how to do it, you can just watch these streams. I'm going to go show everyone step by step how to do it each time. And this is part of a continuation of things I do in the base game, where some of them are wackier than others. But some recent examples are actually, I think I have a list of recent that. Um, oh, I have an upcoming list. Here, I'll put the upcoming list and I'll talk about some of the previous stuff. So, like, some of the things I've done in the base game are, um, after after watching Laptop Hound one day, I decided to make a roster of all Kitty Bransfield batters and all Dave Steve pitchers and put them in the 2023 season. After Willie Mays passed, I put four versions of peak Willie Mays on the 2023 Mets to see what would happen. Um, after hearing about uh, Artie, who's the NEL player in the recent set, uh, who's got a great card. Artie, yeah, I'm losing the last name here, but anyway, Spore mentioned that he had lost a thumb and still had a successful career. And so I found five major leaguers who had lost fingers and added them to the 2023 Mets to see what would happen. So it's just kind of like I do a lot of fun, quirky things in the base game. And this was one of the little more straightforward ones. So I'm going to create a Mets roster, put in the 2023 season, and see how it does. And then I'm going to take that roster and add it to a new league I'm setting up where it's going to be the league is going to be all rosters um, like mine. So they're going to be all like fan favorite rosters. Wilson, thank you, EBC. RD Wilson. Uh, oh, JB Estrada, this is the one you want to be here for. Awesome. I'm glad to hear that. So here, let me show you how it's going to work. I just created this slide recently. Um, yeah, so each week I'm going to do one franchise favorite. I'm going to abbreviate FF, one franchise favorite sim. So we'll start with mine. I'll be the guinea pig in case things go wrong. It'll go wrong with mine, and then we'll figure it out. And there's 30 franchises, so we'll do it 30 times. And so in each sim, the person chooses 26 of their favorite players from their favorite team and the year they want. Hey, Nolan, you're out of karaoke. Have a good time. Oh, thanks for popping in and supporting, man. I appreciate it. I'm telling a bunch of people who rated in from PBE Sim Home Run Derby about the franchise favorites thing. So Nolan's one of the people who has signed up early to participate. But anyway, each person is going to send me 26 players, their favorites from their team, and the year they want for that player. And it has to be a year they played for their team. And then I'll put them in 2023 and we'll sim the season. But then after the season, that roster is going to get added to this league, this franchise favorites league. JB asking, do they ought to be different years? No, you can pick the same years, but especially for these like older franchises, I'm assuming people are going to want to cherry pick from across history. And so, hey, EVC, subscribing. Thank you. You are literally the first person to subscribe. I appreciate it greatly. I feel like we should do something special to commemorate that first subscriber. But anyway, so each team that comes on and does the sim gets added to this league. And when we have it full with 30 different franchise favorites teams, we're going to run a sim and see what happens. That was the plan. But then last night I was experimenting with the rosters. Nolan had submitted his Mariners roster, and Twins 34 had submitted his Twins roster. So we're experimenting with them. And as soon as we got both of them into the league, of course, we wanted to see what happens. So we did like a test sim to see. And we uncovered some bugs that we need to figure out how to fix. But it went really well. It was super fun. And I think this is going to be a good time. And the other thing I like is people have been super um, responsive and interested in participating. And so here's a list of some of the people who have responded already saying that they would participate. And it's a mix of, so we have Paul Sporer from OOTP and Fangraphs. He's going to do the Tigers, of course. There are streamers in here, longtime streamers like EVC and the Dodgers and Dr. Dynastic and Laptop Hound. And there are newer streamers like me and Cheeky, Nolan and Twins, and D Block, I feel like kind of falls somewhere in between. And then there are just some community members like Fussmucker and D King 395 who have agreed to do the Yankees and Rays respectively. So it's been really fun entering the rosters in. And, when we did the Mariners and the Twins, um, yeah, for MVP. um, there's a lot of good chat about like why these players and why that year. And so I said I'm a do, and I'm willing to change the streaming time to accommodate is, when we do a certain team, yes. Can someone in chat just type something in chat and let me still there? I don't know. I'm still here, but maybe it looks like I'm not here. Okay, I'm hearing myself again finally. Yeah, sorry. I do have issues sometimes with my laptop if I don't reboot my stream. Okay, Lcats Gaming can hear me now. Thank you, Lcats. Welcome back to the stream. I'm still hearing it pretty choppy though on my end. So yeah, the plan and to do the roster build for the Mets. But if I'm gonna have audio problems, I don't know if that's gonna work. All right, hang on, y'all. I'm gonna try to close some things here and see if that helps at all. Normally, I do a preventative reboot before I go on, but I didn't do that today. Lesson learned. Okay, I think I can hear myself better now. Hopefully, you guys can hear me too. So yeah, why don't I put up yesterday's? Let me put up the game, and I'll show you what we did yesterday as a test run. Sorry, I'm still here. I'm looking. I'm still figuring out OBS. Oh, check this out. I just opened up the game. I am still alive in the 6L. Who am I about to play? The Bandle City Teddy Bears. Yordle named Leona. I don't know who that is, but good luck to you. All right, let's go back out to the base game. Cheeky. Okay, man. We'll look forward to hearing from you when you get back from walking your dog. If you're not familiar, the 6L is the Laptop Hounds late lower level leisure lounge. And it's all bronze and iron with just one round of low silver. It's a super fun tournament. And if you do well in it, you get points for placing in the top four. And each month, there's a leaderboard, and you can win additional packs from Laptop Hound for doing well in his tournament. And there's a 5L that's in the morning, same format, different stadium, I think. And while we're talking about tournaments with extra monthly payouts, there's also EVC's Bagels and Schmear, which takes place in the morning, and that's a full perfect draft. So it has everything from perfect to iron, and that's one I've never done well in, but maybe you will. So let's go to the base game. You guys have to bear with me. I got to see what happens here. Oh, you announced your June winners tonight. Awesome. I was definitely not in the mix on that. It's funny. There are like some perfect drafts I do well in. Like don't forget to pick up the kids and second in that today actually. But for some reason I cannot crack the Bagels and Schmear. Okay, I lost the first game of the round 3, so that's I feel less bad about missing what happens now. I was gonna do an iron I was gonna do live roster rebuilds today too, but since we have this whole big group here, I thought I'll skip that and we'll go right into the franchise favorites thing. I think it would be helpful for maybe some newer players to see how someone builds a roster and maybe specifically live because I think live is really good for new players. There's no combinators, but I think this will be more interesting for everybody. So here's the game we created last night. It's called Franchise Favorites Mariners because initially I was just gonna upload Nolan's Mariners roster to it and test drive it. But then once we did that, I was like, well, let's see what an early version of the league would look like. So we added Twins 34's Twins roster to it. And then yeah, oh, so this is the World Series. Twin Here I can show you the playoff tree. Playoffs. So unfortunately they were both on the AL, so they ended up meeting each other in the ALCS. But you can see how they dominated. Yeah, 139 wins. I'll show you the so here's what we thought going in. We thought Twins would have a huge advantage because the Twins franchise going back to the Senators just has like a super long history. And when you see his pitching rotation, you'll understand why we thought, man, Twins is going to run away with it. And then the Mariners, you know, great franchise, but an expansion franchise, a shorter history, but some really high peaks in that short history. But we thought, they'll do well, especially against the rest of 2023. But you know, they're going to get everyone's getting steamrolled by the Twins. But that actually didn't turn out to be the case. The Mariners in the AL West won 138 games, and so apparently, if you bring your franchise favorites onto a team and plop them into a regular season, you're going to dominate. And then we looked up the head-to-head, and I think Twins was 4-3 against the Mariners, so it wasn't like a blowout. Oh, Jimmy, good. I'm glad you think that. This league is gonna be awesome. So, also, here's a caveat, just so you guys know. I don't know if you play a lot of base game, and if you do, there's a quick start menu, and there's a few leagues loaded into it, so that if you don't want to create your own save, or maybe you're new to base game, you can do one of the quick starts. And one of the quick starts is all-time greats, and I knew that existed when I started this, but there are a few reasons why I kept moving forward with this franchise favorites thing. Um, the first is I think it's I think it's more interesting when a fan picks their favorites from a franchise versus just like using some algorithm to pick, the quote all-time greatest unquote players from a franchise. The second is once I dug into those rosters, they have a lot of players on their teams of all-time greats that are a player year a year they weren't on the team. Okay, ABC, thanks for stopping by, and I really appreciate the sub. That was awesome. And I'll see you on your stream next. Have a good night. And so, for example, we looked up the Padres because Cheeky wants to do the Padres. And so on that all times great roster, there's a John Kruk, but it's the Phillies version of John Kruk, which to me, like that kind of, is not in the spirit of an all time greats roster for your franchise. So because of a few things like that, I felt like, I still want to move forward. And then when I saw how much support the idea was getting from, whether it's in the stream like this and JB feeling like this is gonna be an awesome league to watch, or if it's, this list of people already agreeing to submit rosters, including EVC, um, I thought, yeah, we have to keep going with this. Oh, you want to be the Yankees? Ah, I've already got Fussmucker for the Yankees, but I think we're going to do this again because we're doing 2020, but I have ideas for how we can do this again and keep it interesting. And I was thinking when we do this the next time, I think this first time it's just going to be like, whoever I can find, whoever's interested. But if it has legs and we do it again, I thought there are going to be multiple people who want to do the Yankees. There are going to be like multiple people who want to do the Red Sox. And I thought we can do like a battle royale for the Yankees. So if like 8 people want to do the Yankees, each 8 submit a roster and we play the 8 rosters against each other. And then whoever wins like goes into the league that year. I don't know. Just like I think there's lots of fun things we could do with this. And they also know, here, let me put the list back up. For like Cheeky, who's a Padres fan, has a grudge against uh the Tigers who beat the Padres in '84. And so I want to do like a best of 9 head-to-head series between Spore's Tigers roster and Cheeky's Padres roster. And I would not have that would have been as interesting until we did last night's sim. And when we saw how competitive the Mariners were. They were just one game behind the Twins roster. And so I think it's gonna put a lot of these things that I thought were going to be just not competitive enough. Like I'm doing the Mets. It's an expansion franchise, just don't have the history of like the crosstown Yankees. And I knew we were gonna get crushed for the Yankees. But yeah, Cheeky, wasn't Hummus the one who likes the Marlins? And I think we're gonna have a hard time finding a Marlins representative. um so yeah, I think by doing this test sim last night, I think it really opened up the doors to seeing that these would be more competitive than we thought. So JB says, I don't think some of these Mets all timers are the ones I'd pick in the quick. Yeah, exactly. So JB, you just looked at the quick start version. So yeah, it's not all the same players I would have picked. It's not the same years I would have picked. And frankly, it lost a lot of credibility when the first Met I looked up was Keith Hernandez, and they have a 1975 Keith Hernandez on that roster, who is a Cardinals Hernandez, and I would never put a Cardinals Hernandez on an all-time Mets roster. So, yeah, and also like not only are they missing people, I just think whatever algorithm or method they use to make the teams, it just doesn't have um like the spirit of a real person picking their favorite players. And frankly, like people are gonna probably have issues with some of the players I pick, but I'm picking them because they're my favorites. The one I keep talking about is Nolan Ryan. Like he's my favorite pitcher. I'm gonna pick him. I have to pick a Mets year. He was not good when he was in the Mets. He was way too wild. But I want to see him pitch on this team. So I'm gonna pick him. I'm gonna pick the best year I can amongst the Mets years. I don't get to pick from his California years or his Astros years where he was, dominant, but I want him on the team, so I'm going to pick him. And so, that's something I think, an AI would not do. And maybe it makes my version of the franchise favorites Mets team a little weaker, but I really don't care. I want to see him pitch on that team. And so, but I think like anything, that's going to create more discussion, right? And more interest in like what happens. So, yeah. So Cheeky, what's going on? You want us to add your roster, Padres roster now? Okay, we can do the Padres now. Um, you sent me that link. Is that something I can? Is there anything in that link that I can't show in stream? Well, I was gonna do my Iron Live roster rebuild because the live update destroys people's live rosters, but I decided not to do that because I think people are being more interested in this than that. Okay, I can use it. All right, bear with me, folks. I'm gonna pull up his. So Cheeky had previously sent me a link to a spreadsheet that has his Padres on it. Oh, it's still a rough draft. Okay, if you think you can edit it fast enough, we can do it. We'll try it out. Okay, lineup is good. Okay, so we'll start with the. Okay, all right. Just need to cut people. All right. Let me get it. I don't know what I don't know what I'm looking at here. Oh, I see. Okay, it's like a depth chart. Got it. All right, JV's gonna head to bed, but is looking forward to seeing the Mets end up. Yeah. Um. Yeah, JB, if you want to, here, let me. I'll put a link to my Discord on here because that's how I'm gonna kind of keep people up to date. Especially if my normal stream time is too late for a lot of people. Yeah, let me grab you a link real quick here. Sorry, my system's being a little slow. All right, here we go. I got a link. Let me paste it in here. All right, there we go. And that's for everybody too, not just JB. If you want to join my Discord, I'll be putting the Sims in there. So if you don't know, normally on Mondays I stream a little bit later, and on Mondays I would be streaming my um, all-time greatest not safe for work player names team. Um, but since I was going on earlier today, since there were some openings in the schedule, I figured that's maybe not the best thing to stream it at 9 o'clock Pacific time. So, but that's another thing I'll be doing normally, and then all kinds of just like weird sims that come up randomly. Like you know how Laptop Hound likes Kitty Bransfield and Dave Steeb. I did a season sim with a team of all Kitty Bransfields and all Dave Steebs. Um, just stuff like that. So, all right. Sorry, getting back on track here. Let me share the screen of Kitty Cringe. Here we go. Padres single season. Okay. All right. So this is from Cheeky. So I think I understand what I'm looking here. So at catcher, your depth chart is Tennis, then Kennedy, then Santiago. I think this can work because um, you're going to do pictures while I work on the start. Yeah, here's what I was thinking. I can be looking up the player ID numbers, and I think here I'll show everyone the window I use for this. Except I need to pull up my roster build. Hold on, I have to find because I'm going to enter these as we go. So let me find. Okay, I'm going to create a new window capture. So LCAT's Gaming, you want to volunteer to do one for the Red Sox? So I've got a few feelers out still. I think I have one out for the Red Sox, but if I come up empty on that, I will open it up, and then you and I should get in touch if that happens. Um, I did reach out first to some affiliate streamers and stuff, and that I thought had interest in certain teams, and I just haven't heard back from everybody. But yeah, I would like to open it up to more people in the community if that ends up happening. So and if I forget LCATs, just feel free to ping me and remind me, and either in a stream or in my Discord, whatever works for you. So I'm gonna set up a new window. Hey Max, welcome in. We're working on Cheeky's franchise favorites roster. So I just got done explaining to a big raid from PBE Sim about what we're working on, and we're going to demonstrate it with Cheeky's roster. Cheeky's excited to get in the game now because he saw how much fun we had with. Even if someone takes the socks, you can do any team. About that. I'm sorry about that. The spirit got me laughing, and then I started choking. Apologize. Yeah, so I'm trying to get this. I have a roster builder that I use that I would like to populate while Cheeky works on his. So I just need to create a view for that. So we are building, Max, we are building Cheeky's Padres roster. Okay, I think I have this set up right. Let's take a look. So On the right hand side of the screen, this is Nolan's Mariners roster from last night, and we're just going to add. This format's important because it makes it easier for me to paste it into the text file that we need to use for OOTP. So OOTP, the base game, has a way you can just import an entire roster. PT Theme Team or Base Game Fantasy. This is Base Game Fantasy, Duncan. And welcome to the stream and welcome to the chat. Um, there's a bunch of us who are going to make our roster of our favorite players for our favorite team. And each one's going to do a single season sim in 2023. And then each roster then goes into a franchise favorite league. And once the league is full with all 30 all 30 franchise represented, we're going to start doing sims um, within that league. So it'll be like Cheeky's Padres playing my Mets on a given day. All right, so we're going to duplicate this roster, and then I'm going to clear it out. So this will be Cheeky's Padres. So yeah, I just use this format because it ends up putting the various text fields where I need them. You didn't do a favorite, you did all-time best. I think that's fine too. I'm going to do favorites. I mean, my favorites are going to be 90% all-time best anyway. Nolan Ryan's like the big exception. I'm going to pick a subpar early career Nolan Ryan just because I want him on the team. But I think for everyone else, like for the most part, it'll also be all-time favorites. Um, the only other one that might fall as um, like I really like Lenny Dykstra on the 80, 85, 86 Mets that before he left for Philly. And his Mets years are, nowhere near as good as his Philly years, but I'll probably still add him to the team too, just because he's a favorite. But I think everyone else is going to end up being, mostly all-time best also. Twins, is there someone you would have picked differently if you were thinking favorites versus best? Because I know someone's giving you a hard time last night because you didn't pick Torrey Hunter. You're doing best as well. That's fine. Y'all can do your best. My favorites will still beat your best. Let's just do last names. You have to be able to compete against the big boys. And especially for those of us who are fans of expansion franchises, I don't blame you for picking your best so you can put them up against the teams with big histories. Yeah, that's true too. Expansion franchises probably have negligible difference between favorites and best. And then just as a reminder, Cheeky, we're gonna do career fielding. So Tatis Jr. will be qualified at shortstop and outfield. Oh, I'm gonna ask you when I get to it, but when I start looking at Gwynn's player ID number, I'm gonna ask you why you picked 87 out of all the possible Tony Gwynns. Don't tell me now. I want to hear it after I'm looking at his stats. Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, Cheeky, I think you were either you were already there or I might have already told you that Laptop Hound said he will do the Blue Jays. Twins saying you Puckett, Herbeck, Live, and Getty, Carew, Killebrew, believe are pretty much your all-time favorites. Yeah, yeah. But is there anyone you can think of Twins that's like on that favorites list that didn't make your roster? Oh, Twins may have taken a 94 Gwyn, he says. I think JB's already gone, but another issue that we had with that all-time greats quick save is that there were no current players on it. And I don't know if whether that's some rule they had set for themselves or the algorithm, waiting like entire careers versus single seasons. But it seemed like a big miss, not just from a perspective of missing some great players, but also getting a good mix of historic and current. Seems like it would have been more fun. Okay, so Cheeky, I don't know if I did this right. I think I grabbed some pictures that maybe I wasn't meant to grab. So you can, I did the whole B list of pictures, but now I'm realizing you probably meant for it to be a combination of B and D. Oh, picture's not done. Okay, I'll just stick to the. Let me start with the starting position players, and that'll give you some time. So we have Arthur Rhodes up here from last night when we're doing the Mariners. Yeah, I'm going to start with your starting lineup, your batters. Arthur Rhodes, by the way, super underrated, especially when we kind of dug in and looked at his stats, and he threw really well in the game in the sim too. Hellcats Gaming says their all-time favorites and all-time greats would differ on a couple for the Sox. Marty Barrett would make my favorites team over Bobby Dorr. Tony Armas makes my team over Tris Speaker. Tim Wakefield would make my favorites rotation over an all-time great rotation as well. Yeah, and frankly, Hellcats, I think that's what makes favorites teams more compelling than greats teams. It's that like personal um, flavor to them, I think. Yeah, man, my system's being super slow. This might just be fate's way of telling us that Cheeky's not destined to have his team entered in tonight. So Twins also really likes Jack Morris, Dave Winfield, Paul Molitor, Terry Steinbach. all because they were all born in Minnesota and played for the Twins, but you couldn't put them on the team. Well, fair enough. I mean, it's your choice. Man, look at how slow. Look at this. What is going on here? You have told me how slow memory sensor Chrome is. Maybe let me try it in or try Firefox, and if that works, I got all my Chrome windows and maybe switch to Firefox. No, I'm just mostly just talking about how Firefox is taking forever to come up, and I think it's because my computer's a little overloaded. Okay, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna switch. Okay, I'm switching from Chrome to Firefox. Let me see if that helps. Oh yeah, much better. Okay. Yeah, we'll just switch the view a little bit so you can see how I'm going to grab the player ID. If you guys ever want to do this, whether it's a franchise favorite or just bringing players from across history into your sim, you just need to grab this part of the URL. That's their player ID. And then you just paste it in there. Okay, all you need to pull in a player in the Park Baseball is this player ID and the year you want for that player. You're going to confirm years as we go. Okay, that's fine. So, okay, so I'm not just going to zip through and look at the ID. We're going to pull the year down too. Wait, what is this about? Yo, what about that doctor that cured ED? Did the doctor who cured ED was that doctor named Gene Tennis? Dr. Gene Tennis? I'm really confused right now. Yeah, it's twins is exactly right. It's the first five letters of the last name or however many lines they have. Oh, it's the ad at the bottom of the page. The first two letters of the last name. And if that combination has never happened before, they'll be 01. And if it has happened before, then they'll be 02 or 03 and so on. Okay, so here is Tennis's stats. And what year did you pick? Let me go back to this year. You picked 79. I'm kind of surprised you didn't pick 75. 75 was the one time he was an all-star. It is his career high in home runs. It is his almost his career high in OPS. Oh, because I was at Oakland. Yeah, 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 yeah. All right, you're sticking with the rules. I like it. Yeah, that this is his peak San Diego. I think you're right. Yep, 1979. I did say you can't do that. That's right. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Another 90 seconds bats. Okay. Sorry about that, everybody. Okay, I think we're back from the ad break. You know, the funny thing is, Cheeky, you couldn't pick that 75 Gene Tennis because he was with Oakland. I bet that 75 Gene Tennis doesn't even make Dr. Dynastic's Oakland squad. All right, Max. Yeah, if you got to get up at 4:15, get some sleep, man. Thanks for joining us. I'm glad we got to see you tonight. I went on a little earlier than normal because of the schedule tonight, so I'm glad you were able to pop in. Yeah, that's crazy, Max. That when you stream as late as when you would normally get up for work. 'Which Gonzalez am I looking for here, Cheeky? Is it Adrian? I'm guessing Adrian. Yeah, looks like a good guess. Oh, these are some nice seasons here. 2009. Are you sure you don't want to pick one of these seasons where he led the league and grounded into double plays? Yeah, led the league in walks. So that's interesting. I didn't realize he had won multiple Gold Gloves. One, two, three, four Gold Gloves. Wow, bummer, man. He leaves the Padres and then drops this season on the Red Sox. 213 hits. Yeah, I can make the right browser a little thinner. Let me do that. So I'm not going to see all of it, but again, mostly because I was intending to just grab the. Well, here's what I can do. I'll make it smaller too. Okay, so 2009, you're good with 2009? Ta-da. Yeah, 2004 for Loretta. Man, I didn't realize how late in his career he joined the Padres. Looks like you got it right though. It says one of his two All-Star years, the one year he got MVP votes, and he was a Silver Slugger that year. Yeah, it was 2004. Caminiti. And we're not going to do any PED stuff, so everyone's eligible. You picked 96. Yeah, rest in peace, Caminiti, for sure. Yeah, this is that 40 bomb season, MVP season. Tatis Jr. I'm really interested in seeing what his fielding composite's going to look like now that we're clicking career fielding. So you're grabbing. Yeah, so for anyone who wants to do this, when you import players, you have a bunch of different options, as with anything in the game. But for fielding, uh, the two main choices are you can just take the fielding that's in that year. But for players that change positions over their career, you're only going to get the positions they played that year. The alternative is that there's a box you can check that says career fielding. So it'll take into account all the positions they played over their career. So if you want to get, if you want to make sure Tatis can play shortstop and outfield, you would the career fielding would be the way to go. Because I think once he transitions to outfield, he doesn't play much infield or shortstop anymore. Same will go for players like if you want to bring in Robin Yount and you're planning to use him as a shortstop. Well, he shifted to center field for a lot of his career, and you don't want to get stuck with Robin Yount that can't play the position you had intended him for. So you want to hit that career um, fielding. As you play any amount of base game, you'll realize that that stuff happens way more than you would think. And then when the season recalc happens, so recalc means in a lot of versions of the base game, every season it recalculates all the players profiles or cards, for lack of a better term. It recalculates their cards based on what happened like the next season you're about to go into. That includes fielding. And so if you have recalc on, suddenly like the person you were counting on to be your starting shortstop is now playing center field, and then you don't have a shortstop. So that helps kind of get around that. Yeah, that 21 season for Tatis is great. Of course, I mean it's the one that got him like the big deal, right? And then he went on to what have his motorcycle accident and all that other stuff. Ringworm. I didn't know about the ringworm. All right, Greg Vaughn's someone I haven't paid enough attention to his career, so I'm looking forward to checking this out here. So for Greg Vaughn, you picked 98. All Star, fourth in MVP voting, Silver Slugger Award. Man, 50 bombs, 960 OPS. Oh, that was the excuse for the PD suspension. Right, right, right. He was using ointment. That reminds me of when I did the when I added the five major leaguers who lost fingers to the 23 Mets. When I was looking at Jose Canseco, because I wanted to get the scoop on what happened with his. He basically shot his finger off, and one of the first stories he told was that his finger fell off during a poker game. All right, Steve Finley. Or the Giants defense there who had a fireworks accident. Yep. Also, didn't was also another giant Plaxico Burris? Didn't he shoot himself with a gun he had tucked in his pants or something? All right, so let's see here. We've got which version of Steve Finley did you want? 96. Yep. Oops. No, I don't want to keep grouping them. Stop it. Stop it. It's a good function, but I don't need to do it right now. 96. Yeah, almost at 300, 885 OPS. Threw in 22 steals. I'm surprised he didn't try to go 30-30 that year. All right, this is what I've been looking forward to. Which Tony Gwynn did you pick and why? So you went with 87. Look at all that black ink. Lots of black ink. And look, all yeah, you can't see the awards because of my. Let me move this window somehow. You really want to do the 395, 394 year, which is 1994. I mean, what's wrong with that year? I mean, not that 87 is a bad year, but oh, OPS plus and WAR. Got it. 394 has some stories to it. That's also the strike shortened year, right? Yeah, 87, man. 218 hits, 370 average, 958 OPS. 958 OPS for like a non home run hitter is insane. Alcat said, honestly, I would have probably taken 87 as well. If you're constructing a lineup with Gwynn in it, having that speed at the top is better than the slower Gwynn of the 1990s. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Alcatraz brings up, I think people forget, he was a 50 stolen base guy. You wonder if he would have hit 400 if it was for the strike. Yep. Lots of things we'll never know about that season. We can sim it over and over on my stream however many times we want, and we'll never know. Yeah, I like the 87. Especially with Alcat's point too about having some speed on there too. I think that's a good point. All right, so I'm done with your starters, Cheeky. At least through the fielding positions. So do you want to give me your finals for the rest of your lineup, and I can start adding them into? Start. Do you think I can start with the top? So you're talking Kennedy, Klesko, Roberts, Machado. Okay, I'll do that. Oh, so Benito Santiago not going to make the roster. Is this Roberts Bip Roberts? You got to keep Dave Winfield, right? You might start over Vaughn. Yeah. Guy was a sick athlete. I knew him mostly as a Yankees outfielder from across town, but all right, I'm going to start adding some player IDs. Terry Kenny. So I'm thinking about doing a stream on player players better known as managers. So I was actually talking to Spore the other day about how I didn't really. I mean, I guess it makes sense that most managers probably played at one point, but people like Leo the Lip DeRocher, I can just not even picture him as a player. And even growing up as a Mets fan, like when I found out Davey Johnson used to play second base for the Orioles, I was like, "What? That dude?" I couldn't even picture him turning a double play. But so I wanted to make an entire roster of players like that. And it seems like there are a lot of catchers, right? Like that I grew up with knowing as catchers that are like Bruce Bochy and Terry Kennedy, and um, so I thought that might be a fun team to sim. I just don't know they'll be able to fill all the positions. 'Cause it's tough. It's always tough finding second baseman. So catcher's usually one of the harder ones to fill. But like right off the bat, Kennedy and Bochy. Yeah, Elcats, Lasorda, Vernon, Torrey. Um, and then even like if when especially when you go to like Dave Roberts for sure. When you go to like coaches, like pitching coaches and stuff, like Roger Craig, I only knew as a pitching coach. Mel Stottlemyre, and then I see the cards for all these players, and I'm like, oh man, like that dude I only know as a coach, man. He used to ball. He used to ball out. I like that Lasorda. I think in his card, both PT 24 and 25, his control is like a 9. So how can you get mad at his pitchers for walking batters if his control is a 9? Outcast is another good team, would be an all broadcasters team. Yeah, for sure. For sure. But that's what I really like about this game that I couldn't do in Stratomatic. Is like whatever idea I come up with, I can put that team together and then put it on the field. AW, welcome. Oh, you've been in the chat before, but maybe you're using one of your alts because it says this is your first time in chat. But I know that's not true. So I'm assuming this is Bip Roberts you're talking about here with Roberts. Yeah, so LCAS, before I discovered Perfect Team, and I had no, you're usually on your mobile account this time of night. Yeah, I don't blame you. Um, Before I discovered Perfect Team in December, I only ever played base game. And so I didn't know about OTP on Twitch. I didn't know about, the affiliate streamers. I didn't know about theme teams. So I only played base games. And what I would do is like, I would get some weird idea and be like, I'm going to put that team together and do it. So like all broadcasters would fit right in. All coaches is something I would have done, if I thought of it then. Um, I've done seasons where like I did a team of all lefties and then a team of all righties and then a team of all switch hitters. Just, like whatever comes to mind, I would be like, oh, I'm going to see what it would be like to sim that. Speaking, I'm checking out your 1990 Bip Roberts right now. I think AW's team is the Rays, right? Cats is the same until this year. Started doing PT right around the same time after last season. Yeah, I got hooked, man. I got hooked on Perfect Team, and frankly, it's the only thing that ever got me to buy OTP in consecutive years. I used to just buy it every 2 or 3 years because all I cared about was base game. Um, and I was never doing Sim starting in the current year, so it didn't matter to me if I had the most recent version or not. But with Perfect Team, man, I was buying early because I wanted those packs. And I'm glad they're putting some combinator caps in the tournaments because part of why I started doing base game again was I was so frustrated with running into all combi teams in those tournaments. Yeah, AW. It's funny that you said that because I was saying I didn't realize this would get so much traction, and so I think we're get this first season is going to go pretty well and maybe pretty quickly. So then, if we do another, I was interested in opening up. So like, if people want to compete to represent a team, we can put their rosters up against each other. Um, so yeah, we might have to have a raise head to head to see who runs the next Rays franchise. But we're gonna see how this first one goes. I'm feeling optimistic after our trial sim yesterday, and after so many people have. Oh, collaborating would be fun too. That's right. I didn't think about that. That's a good one, Cheeky. How would a laptop hound Kava collaboration on the Blue Jays go? Those are both great dudes, but for some reason I have a hard time picturing them hanging out together. 2022 Machado. Yeah, that's a good season, man. Second in MVP voting. AW says you got to find a way to slide Mark Hendrickson into a roster. Consider 2020. Yeah. Oh, you're a Marlins fan now. Yeah, I think that season went one of two ways for a lot of people. Some just like, and with good reason, just it just messed with them and they had a subpar season. And some I think really excelled in that environment. or it didn't hinder them, so they were able to have like a small sample size season. Dontrell, Burnett, Jose, best players ever. Yeah, sorry about that. Everyone back from the ad break. It was AW. It was not a pie that I shoved down my pie hole. I was just using that as a generic descriptor of the whole. It was some pasta. Although, man, pie does sound good right now. I usually don't have much of a sweet tooth, but pie sounds really good. I'm a big blueberry pie fan. Is Kim gonna make her final roster, Cheeky? I feel like it's a favorites team he would, but maybe not if it's an all-time greatest team. It's funny, in my mind, he's a much better hitter because he had a good card in PT24. All right. You thought he was hitting 280? Yeah, as high as so far as last season, he hit 260. But he's like a big time fan favorite out there, right? I thought we might see like a Gary Templeton there or something. Padres' history at shortstop hasn't been great. He might still be the best of the bunch after Tatis. He's a Korea favorite. Got it. I thought Gary Templeton played some solid shortstop in San Diego for a while. In fact, wasn't Templeton good enough that they traded away Ozzie Smith or something? There was something with Templeton and Ozzie Smith. JW, she wants someone to make a policy if you if you don't need a super fan. I will keep that in mind, Adub. I think we have feelers out there try to get Hummus, who's a Marlins fan, to do to the Marlins. Oh, they were traded for each other. Thank you. Okay, I knew there was some connection between the two. Now I want to look up Gary Templeton stats. Cheeky's working on Hummus. Yeah, man, Soto can rake. Talk about someone who thrived in the COVID season. 351. Look at that black ink. Every rate based stat. He's got the black ink. Batting average, italics, meaning he led both leagues for on base percentage, slugging, OPS, and OPS plus. Led the league in intentional walks. Man, it's a heck of a 2020. You shouldn't want Soto's 2020, man. I mean, I know it's a shortened COVID season, but man, that's a crazy season. Well, it's easy enough to change the year. I just need to grab his player ID. Oh, he wasn't a pirate, a Padre then. You're right. I keep doing that, man. I keep dangling temptation in front of Cheeky unintentionally. That reminds me, another team I'm working on is it's going to be only after the reserve clause, so only after free agency started. Uh, players who, yeah, maybe I need to check my roster. Players who spent their entire careers with one team post free agency era. Um, I think that'll be a fun team to build. I'm on Hendrick now, so you can check out. We can check out his. Oh, even my Firefox now is getting slow. Here, let me move the 77, 311, 873 OPS, 23 bombs, 11 steals. Outcast just put together a Red Sox team that does include Ted Williams. Of course, it helps that the Sox have also had Yaz and Manny in left field. Your Red Sox team only includes players in your lifetime. You know if you need six outfielders? Yeah, LCAT's part of this too is like any theme team you could turn into a roster and just run the team in the base game. I didn't have a name for it until I started playing Perfect. Weird stuff I'd been doing in base game had just been variations on theme teams. Like I grew up in New Jersey, so I had a team of all players who had been like born in New Jersey, and just stuff like that. All theme teams. Just didn't have a name for it. All right, well, I'm pulling in his player ID for now. We can always delete his line later if we have to, Key. Not sure if your other outfielders can back up center field. Since you're here in the in the chat, Cheeky. I might offer you something I'm probably not going to offer to the other people just for like ease of implementation. But we can import 27 guys, including um, including Hendrick, and then you can see what his ratings look like if you want. Oh, I'm sure Winfield has center field in his profile. Yeah, you can even just look in here. He's got eights in his history, so he will have some center field. So I knew for a long time that Winfield was one of the several ball players who'd been drafted in three sports, right? Basketball, football, and baseball. I didn't realize he was either the only one or the last one. I think the only one who's been drafted by four leagues, though, because he was drafted before the NBA merger. So he was drafted by, I guess, ABA and NBA and NFL and MLB. And so I think a lot of those other players got drafted after the NBA merger. So I think he's either the only or the last to be drafted by four leagues, which you got to be a pretty sick athlete to do that. So he grabbed his 79 season. Let's check out his 79 season. Ooh, man. I like it anytime a power hitter's hitting 300. Led the league in total bases, led the league in intentional walks. I think it was last night. My favorite stat from last night. I think it was Ichiro who led the league in intentional walks while only having 8 home runs. That was awesome. That's a great stat. I like stats like that. Okay, Cheeky, I'm up to your pitchers now. So have you made some decisions? If I flip over to your spreadsheet, so I'm putting your sheet up on the screen. Are you ready? Okay, so your relievers on the right. Do you want all those relievers? Because you could put some of your starters in the pen. A-Dub with the PV hype. A-Dub, did you leave with AW and come back as A-Dub 13? Let's start with the top three. Top three relievers or top three starters? Top four starters. Top four of both. Okay, got it. Are you sure? That's going to leave, yeah, your laptop died, A-Dub. Got it. That's going to leave PV off for now. I think A-Dub's going to have a freak out if you leave PV off. So we'll go Brown, Lamet, Jones, Roberts. Yeah, I'll get you a player count in a second here. Uh, okay, so through Winfield, you should be at 16. Yeah, 16 including Winfield. I'm not sure what you mean. So here's what I did. I took, for your position players, I took everyone in column B and C that were position players. So yeah, currently you do have a backup in every position, which I don't think is necessary. Anyway, I'm going to start adding your pitcher player IDs. I'm assuming this is a Kevin Brown. I like that you cherry picked the one season he's in San Diego. That's awesome. I hadn't even forgotten that he had pitched for San Diego. Kevin Brown is your dad's name? Yeah, that's a heck of a season. By the way, did you see this, Cheeky? See that right there? Georgia Tech? Georgia Tech alum? He's from Milledgeville, Georgia, and one of my college roommates was from Milledgeville, Georgia. Oh, goodness, A-Dub. No go dogs here. In fact, one of the rules for my Georgia Tech theme team is if so it's anyone who was born went to school, died, oh wait, born, played in school, played pro, died or is buried in Georgia. And if you went to Georgia Tech, you're a must roster, and if you went to UGA, you're a automatic cut. So Kevin Brown's got multiple check marks there. Do you like the auto cut, Cheeky? So far, I don't think I've lost anyone who I missed because of that rule. And UGA is so much better at so many other sports. All right, let's see. This year 20, Lamette. Wow, 0.855 whip. A 201 ERA plus. That's crazy. And TJ surgery. Yeah, bummer. Yeah, man, that's a good season. That's a great season. How did he only finish fourth in Cy Young voting? Who was ahead of him? Let's see. I mean, all those votes must have been tough with such a short season to look at. Bauer, Darvish, DeGrom. Yeah. Jeez, .795 whip. Yeah, and to be throwing shutouts in the 21st century, that's nothing to sneeze at there. He had two shutouts in that shortened season. Yeah, now Darvish is on the Padres. That's right. Huh. Okay, I mean, I guess fourth is right then. Those are some impressive seasons ahead of him there. Okay. Jones. Is this Doug Jones we're talking about here? Or Randy Jones? Is it a Randy Jones? Those are my two guesses. Is it a Randy Jones or a Doug Jones? Yeah. Look at that hairdo. Sweet. I like that he went from a 22 loss season to a 22 win season in 2 years. Jeez, 25 complete games, 40 games started. 1,251 batters faced that year. You know it's a crazy season when your whip is lower than your batters faced. That's not Jake Peavy. I'm surprised he's the first Jones RA in Baseball Reference. Is that right? 93, 93 strikeouts and 315 innings. He's going to be like that Nate Cornejo card with like a 10 stuff rating. His K per nine was 2.7. All right. I was looking up their season because I was kind of curious. It's kind of crazy that Raleigh Fingers managed to save 35 games on a team that won 69 games. Cat says 15 home runs and 315 innings pitched. You've got pitchers who give up 15 home runs in 2 months today. That is true. Oh, Cito Gaston should be on my manager's team. 169 games and had a pitcher throw 25 complete games. Right. Just says they were complete. Doesn't say they were wins. Tom Phoebus, he has a card in the game right now. Reminiscent of Steve Carlton winning 20 games for a team that won 59 total. Seriously, if that isn't one of the most insane pitching performances of all time, I mean, almost as crazy as Bob Gibson losing what? What did he lose? Did he lose 13 games? The year he had the sub 2 ERA in 1968. Now I gotta look that up. He either lost 9 or 13 games that season. It's ridiculous that he lost any, but 21-12. Yeah, I was thinking it was something like 20-13 or something, but yeah, that sounds about right. Oh, it was not. Okay, I was maybe thinking of both. I was thinking specifically the 68 one though. He went 22-9 with a 1.12 ERA. He had a 1.12 ERA and he lost 9 games. He threw 13 shutouts and he lost 9 games. So yeah, Elcats, I was conflating 2 seasons. Maybe you were too, because he went. You're right. He went 20-13 the next year. And when I was saying he lost 9 or 13 games, he lost 9 and then 13 games the next year. But it's the 68 season that always made me irate because you have an ERA barely above 1 and you somehow lose 9 games. Ridiculous. Okay, sorry, I got to get back on track here. Um, Dave Roberts is a 5. A Deb says, imagine being like, okay, we will at least win 4 to 5 days, but until then, eh. Well, that's like, what's it, the old Milwaukee Braves saying? Spawn insane and then pray for rain. At least you had 2 guys on that team. So he wants this Dave Roberts 71 season. See, this isn't happening with whoever's got the Yankees or the Red Sox. They're not having to pick a 14-17 season pitcher. But I mean, that's a function of the team record because he brought the goods. He had a 1.109 WHIP, point 0.3 home run per 9, 157 ERA plus. I'm assuming he got 0 run support. Because what was the team record? This is why I kept looking at the team record for the Padres. Because it helps put the season in context. Yeah, losing 17 games with a 2.10 ERA? Right, for sure. They went 61-100. I mean, I think the excuse Gibson's teammates could have is it was the year of the pitcher. So while he had a 1.13 ERA, other pitchers were dominating too. So like, maybe his team couldn't score, but man, 14 and 17 with a 2.10 ERA and a 157 ERA plus. Crazy. This will be fun though when you put him on the team that can actually support him. What does he do? Does he win 25 games? All right, man. Oh yeah, I can add some of your relievers first, and then you're gonna have to start making some decisions. Welcome back from the ads. Sorry about that. Thanks for letting me know, Cheeky, that they had come on. All right, so I'm going to start adding your top four relievers, and then you're going to have to make some decisions. Trevor Hoffman, by the way, when one of the games I play is force four trades. So you pick a team that's like, you know, close to winning it all, or maybe a team that's terrible, and you get to force four teams that season in the league to make trades with you. So I took the 97 Mariners and forced teams to trade to them Greg Maddux, Pedro Martinez, Trevor Hoffman, and Billy Wagner. That Mariners team finally won the World Series. Greg Maddux somewhere down my list for Padres pitcher, by the way. Didn't we get a Maddox Padres card in PT24? I kind of feel like we did, which is a great way to like give us a bronze Maddox. No, 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 it was a Greg Maddox in PT24, but I think it was the Padres Greg Maddox. Hoff, Hoff TR01. Oh, this is your first OTP. Yeah, I started in December, so I caught the tail end of PT24, and I felt like it was like a fun way for them to give us a bronze Greg Maddox. It might have even been iron. So sorry, which Hoffman did you want? You wanted 96. Okay. Well, 7. You remember him for 98, but you think, well, let's take a look. There's 97. I mean, saves is kind of like wins and ERA. It doesn't tell you everything, but 53 saves and 98. 98 was his lowest whip. Alcat says you can't go wrong with 96 or 98. All right, well, I'm leaving it for now. You can tell me later if you want to change it. Okay, I'm blanking here. Who's Bell in 2007? Not Jay Bell. No, no, not Jay Bell. I know it's not Jay Bell. Heath Bell. Okay, so he was a setup guy that year. He became a closer in '09, but in '07 he pitched 81 games. That's a ton of games with a sub one whip, 199 ERA plus. Yeah. You were drinking a lot that your memory is fuzzy. All right, so that was Heath Bell. Who's next on your list here? Oh, Gossage. Nice. Which Gossage did you want? You wanted 85 Gossage. Did it really get someone for all 30 teams? Not yet. We're still in the process. I'm waiting to hear back from some people. Like, for example, Ezra Denny's on vacation, but he loves the Giants and he's been really supportive of me streaming. So I'm hoping he'll say yes to submitting a Giants roster. Um, so there's like a bunch of feelers still out for some of them. So Gossage I knew as a Yankee before he went to San Diego. Save Giants for Ezra for sure. Yeah. Well, and I want to give him a chance to be involved because he's been so good to me as a streamer. So yeah, these are the years I remember, early '80s. All right. Man. Oh, there he is, finally. Mark Davis. You want an 89 Mark Davis. A-Dub, good thing I'm a fan of all 30D. Good call for your fourth reliever. Plus, good call for any left-handed reliever, right? Sometimes hard to find those left-handed relievers that are more than just the one out guys. I think it's crazy how long he was good. Gossage. Because you see a lot of guys like Mark Davis here, right? He pops up and gets 28 saves and 44 saves and then disappears again. But like the Gossages and the Lee Smiths should just kind of like give you 20, 30 saves a year forever. Hey, Brent. Brent's back in the chat. All right, I think we're at that point, Cheeky. I've got your four starters and four relievers now, so you're gonna have to start making some decisions. With eight pitchers, you're at 24 players on the roster right now. So you can get to 10 pitchers without cutting anyone. Okay, so you had Lee Smith on your Red Sox pen, but ended up cutting him for one of your all-time favorite names, Olcam Boyd. Yeah, Olcam Boyd is an amazing name. I believe he was on the Red Sox roster when they played the Mets in '86 too. Yeah, Brent, we ended up doing a test run with two franchise favorite rosters in one season. So we had Nolan's Mariners and Twins 34's Twins in the same league and ran a sim. All right. So Brent, we're definitely adding the '07 PV you said. That'll make some people in chat very happy. I thought these roster builds would be boring. So I was like, but they're, perfect for 10:30 at night. But it seems like are people digging this? Should I invite people on to do roster builds live? Because I thought people would be like, "Yo, just cut to the chase and let us see the simulation." But you could do this once a night. Elcat says he's digging it. I keep forgetting that. I just think all this stuff is interesting to me and boring to everyone else. But then I forget everyone playing this game is more like me than I probably realized. Elcat's like seeing other people's thought process. Yeah, for sure. All right, let's check out this '07 season that everyone's so hot about. First of all, I forget how long he pitched. Second of all, I forget that he won a Cy Young Award. Shame on me for that. Wow, I didn't realize he won the pitching triple crown that year. Wins, ERA, and strikeouts. And if you did it modern, he also led in WHIP too. So yeah, man, Cheeky, how's this dude not at the top of your rotation? Oh, that's right. That's right. He's not allowed to have a strikeout for 9/5. Okay, you're at 25 now, Cheeky. You can add one more pitcher without a cut. Well, you can have all three of them if you cut two batters, because you're at 16 batters right now. All right, while you do that, I'm going to look at Gary Templeton's stats. Man, check that out. I did not know he led the league in triples 3 years in a row. 18, 13, and 19. Yeah, Elcats is right, Cheeky. You've got Bip Roberts. You've got backups. Well, look, I already did the hard part. The hard part's pulling the player ID. So let's just add your three pitchers. Let's import the players, and then why don't we look at the depth chart, okay? So, Cheeky, if you're good with that, I'll take the Whitson, Meredith, and Kenneth Trevecki, and then let's roll with it. All right, so Whitson. All right, Brett. Have a good night, man. Thanks for joining us again. Meredith 06. What was the year on the Dravecki again? Oh, wait, I see it. 85. All right, Cheeky, I'm doing a service for you that I'm not doing for everyone else. I'm gonna let you import 29 players. Let's check out this 90 season while we're here. VIP. I should reserve that for EVC, my one and only subscriber. Man, it's not. I bet this is one of the only players who gets picked in his second to last season in the league. But that's a heck of a season. We'll grab that one. But we'll treat you like a VIP because you helped bring the raid today, and you're just a generally cool dude. Oh, not Whitson, Meredith. You sure you don't want Geechee Meredith? He give you Geechee Meredith. The raid was calculated. Ooh, that's a heck of a season there. 0.711 whip. I'm assuming that's the one you grabbed. Oh, 06, right? Yeah. Ooh, 1.07 ERA, 0.711 whip. You even got a K9 over 6 there. Was Eric Shaw on your list of considerations? And you know, I might be saying that wrong. I always grew up thinking it was Shao, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't see him on the list of considerations. Here, I'll show you what I'm seeing here. Eric Shaw was a Stratomatic favorite in my neighborhood. He had a good Stratomatic card. I'm looking for Dravecki. 85 Dravecki. Was it Dravecki or who was the pitcher who broke his arm like mid pitch? And then they found out, like, when they went to fix it, they found cancer in his arm. Was that Dravecki? I keep thinking it's Dravecki for some reason. It was Dravecki? Okay. Okay, so now I'm going to create a roster file out of this. So I need these two columns. I'm just going to copy and paste from that spreadsheet. Okay. And then what I need to do is replace these spaces with commas. Oops. What just happened there? I switched to a different roster. Okay, here we go. I missed a bunch up here at the top. Okay, and then since we're just replacing the Padres, hey Cheeky, do you happen to remember in the base game, is the Padres abbreviation SDP? Actually, I have the base game up. I can just take a look. We got to add this running in the background. All right, let's check it out here. San Diego Padres. Hey, did you notice this last night, Cheeky? The Padres made the playoffs. The Padres are. Where would I see that? Oh, wait, are they just SD? Is that right? Here's one way you can check. You go to game settings and league settings and league structure. And it says, hey, Deb, thanks for stopping by. Have a good night yourself. Look at that, Cheeky. The Padres are just SD. They don't even have a three-letter abbreviation. They just get two letters. It's just SD. All right. Yeah, I know. I hear you, Cheeky, but I'm using what I had set up already. So, all right, we're all set. I just need to save it as a different text file. So I will save as. So let's see, to be consistent with the others, this will be Cheeky's Padres. Okay. This says we have 28 rows. Is that right? 28 rows. If I go here, we have 28 rows. Yeah, okay. All right. So we're bringing in two extra players for you, Cheeky, and then you can decide who you want to keep. um, You know what, Cheeky? I don't want to create another save right now since we're just testing this out. I'm just going to add you to this save. So we'll go into a second season. All right. All right. So we're going to go to the start of the next season. All right. I think we're back from the ad break. Game is simming the off season. I think it also sims spring training. Okay. So I'm going to make myself the um, manager and GM of the Padres. So now we can clear out the Padres roster. Okay, clearing out the roster. And then we'll import our roster. So again, we do that from the free agent screen. There's actions, import historical players, historical database ODB, and this is where we want to edit here. Well, let's put the file in first. There is Cheeky's Padres, and we want fielding ratings based on entire career and pitcher stamina based on imported season. I'm making copies of these just in case. Copies of what? I'm not sure what you're asking about, Cheeky. Like the text file is saved as a TXT Google Sheet, so that's on the cloud. Are you saying like, am I backing up the season? I mean, I'm not backing up the season because it's a test run. If that's what you're asking. No, I'm not backing up because this is a complete test run. Like we already know there's problems with it. Like it added players during the roster expansion, which we need to prevent next time. So this is just to get your players in here so you can make your roster decisions. Okay, so it imported 28 players, which is correct. So it looks like it worked okay. Inspect the roster. Everyone looks okay. What did happen here? Why is Ryan Klesko? Oh, he's 49 years old. I I messed up his year again. It's not quite as bad as who was it last time that was 70 years old? But we have a 49-year-old Ryan Klesko. I think everyone else checks out. So let me see where I messed up on Ryan Klesko. Yeah, not 2021. What year did you have for Klesko? Definitely not 2021. Oh, actually, on your sheet it says 21-22. Let's pull up Klesko. Does it mean 2001, 2002? 2001 was his All-Star season. 30 bombs, 923 OPS. 2002, he had one fewer home run, but slightly higher OPS. Okay, yeah, just let me know which one of these you want. 2001 or 2002. He had 300 in 2002, one less home run, but he made the All Star game in 2001. He had way more steals in 2001. I think that's steals. Yeah. He had 23 steals in 2001, only six in 2002. So if you want to spice it up with some stolen bases, it's 2001. Three Cats. 2001, you get the steals. Okay, 2001. I'm going to correct this on the spreadsheet and I'm going to correct it in the text file, but we're going to import him as an individual so I don't have to do a bunch of deleting. So let me just update the files real quick so we don't have it doesn't happen again. And then we will delete out this old man Klesko. Actually, this gave me an idea. One of the things I'm going to do now is I want to take a bunch of like superstar all-time Hall of Famers and then import them all in as 50-year-olds and then see what they do. All right, I gotta import a player now. Back to the free agent window. Let me grab that player ID. The downside too is we're gonna have to import him into the free agent pool because I don't have a choice when I'm importing single players, and then we'll have to dig him out of there and assign him. If I do that, I'll catch it if I do that. Julio Franco, Jamie Moyer, and Satchel Paige would have to be ineligible. Okay, 2001 season. And I can't designate a destination, so we'll have to find him in the pool. All right, we successfully imported him, but since we couldn't use the text file, we're gonna have to find him in here. Um, let's go. Let's go. There he is. Hey, Dr. Zevia, LeBron James. That's right. LeBron James, it's funny. It's kind of unfair though, because they keep saying like the records for players in their 20th season, he's destroying all those records because he averaged like, over 20 points a game, and the record before was like three and a half points a game or something. Uh, what are we doing here? Oh, you have to assign him to Chiki's team. Okay, so I think that's fixed now. And we do have to go change the team name. These are now going to be the San Diego Cheekies. Oh, wait, not there. Here. Cheekies Padres. Okay. All right, so we're going to do a save. I'll do a backup, and then we'll send the season. Oh, yeah, we got to do your roster stuff. I keep forgetting, Cheeky. All right, so here's your lineups. Here's your position ratings. So, what position were you worried about? Okay, shortstop. You've got Kim, Loretta, Machado, and Tatis Jr. eligible to play shortstop. And in center field, you've got Winfield, Roberts, and Gwynn. Cut Kim. Okay, I think you need one more cut after that. Where is Finley? That's a good question. He didn't make it over here somehow. And that would make sense because I kept saying 29 people, but we had 28 on the sheet. So, just like with Arthur Rhodes last night, I might have forgotten to type him in. Well, he's here, though. Should be right after Vaughn and right before Gwynn. He's on the import list. That's weird because I'm looking at this and he's on the import list. And the numbers worked out. So where is he? Let me just make sure they didn't put him on the pitchers list for some reason. Yeah, we can check the reserves, but Oh, you know what? I bet that's right. I bet when we asked him to sign, they cut it to 26 people. So yeah, Finley and Hendrick are over here. So they're here. They're just in the reserves. Cut Hendrick and Kim. Okay. Do you want to see Hendrick before you cut him? Well, I already deleted Kim because we're not carrying reserves. If we carry reserves, we're going to add him to the roster in September, and I don't want that. So I just deleted him. Hmm. Okay. We'll cut Hendrick. We'll move Finley over to the active roster. Okay. We're all set. Let me make those changes to this because this is your roster of record for the league. So I'm gonna cut Kim and Hendrick. Okay, I'll save that. Okay, so your roster is now up to date too. Okay, so let's just do the test sim. I have a theory. If I go month by month like I normally do, I usually don't have that problem with the September call ups. And so my hypothesis is if we do it month by month with you added, you won't get September call ups. But let's see what happens. Oh, wait, let's do your we're gonna do this just the way we did the others. We're just gonna let the AI make the decisions. So yeah, I'll check to see. We'll have the AI make the lineup, so we'll see where Finley is. Okay, so it's got PV as our number two starter. Randy Jones is in the pen. It goes Brown, PV, Lamette, Roberts, and Whitson. Yeah, Cheeky, that's fine. Right now, I'm just worried about making sure the sim works. So all that cosmetic stuff, I'll change when we do the actual sims. Okay, and then for lineups, okay, it's got wow, they're very different VR and V left or VR and VL. Roberts, Gonzalez, Tatis Jr., Winfield, Soto, Machado, Gwynn, Loretta, and Kennedy versus righties. And then Soto, Tatis Jr., Gwynn, Machado, Winfield, Gonzalez, Loretta, Kennedy, and Roberts versus lefties. So it's not starting Finley in center field, it's starting Bip Roberts in center field. Do you want to see what happens if we have yeah, so Bob Melvin made that one. Who's Jay Johnson? Should we have Jay Johnson, the bench coach, make the lineups? We can see what that looks like. When we do that, Gwynn bats second. And Bip's still playing center field. Well, I think that what's happening is because we imported entire career defense, um, his defense is spiking in the outfield, and the AI likes defense. So I think that's why that's happening. Just for this one, Cheeky, I think for the when we do the actual sim, we're going to do the same rules for everybody. Whatever we decide, we're going to run for everybody. All right, you want Bip at second, and then you want what Finley at center field. You want Finley instead of Loretta at center field. I did. I changed his positions to second base. So then it blanks out Loretta's position. So I need someone to play center field. Yeah, in the lineup. I changed Bip to second, and then it blanks out Loretta's positions. Okay. Oh, you want me to set his position as second base? Okay, let's do this then. I'll set his position, then we'll remake the lineups and we'll see what they do. Okay. It keeps taking him back to second base. I think we have to go to strategy. It's not just enough to change his position. You have to go to strategy, and then you have to force start him at second base. I think that's what you're looking for. So now when we do this, it's still taking him to center field. It really wants to put him at center field. It shouldn't override this position setting. I don't know why it's doing that. Forced use of position, second base. Okay, who do you want to bring back then? It should have 12. Yeah, 12 pitchers. Well, it's because we imported his entire career. You want to cut him and run it with 25? I mean, we can do that. Okay. Well, let's see what the lineup looks like then. Quinn leading off, Finley batting second. You like that better? Okay. Make sure this is set right here. Yeah, okay. As of right now, it should not add anyone to the roster, but we saw what happened last night. I think doing it month by month it might help. Okay, 4-2. We're into April now. Uh, tied with the Diamondbacks with one game behind in the loss column. Oh yeah, no worries, Cheeky. Want you see how the sim goes? We can look at the stats, and that might help you decide who you want to add back. All right, let's do the next month. All right, there you go. Top of the NL West now. pulling ahead. And keep in mind, you're doing this with one fewer player than everyone else. So looks like you are okay. Shutdown streak. Oh, it still thinks I'm controlling the Mariners, so it's giving me Mariners accomplishments. How do I change that? It says I'm currently acting as. Okay, that might have fixed it. Okay, sim another month. All right, you're 5.5 games ahead of the Dodgers. Yeah, growing that lead now to 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, it's still giving me Mariners accomplish achievement, so it still thinks I'm running the Mariners. Yeah, the Twins are not losing 52 and 5. Nolan's Mariners have come back to earth this season. They're 36 and 23, and you are actually ahead of them, Cheeky, 44 and 15. Is it possible someone on the Mariners got old in one season and went off their peak? Let's go to the All Star announcements. Because they were both neck and neck, like high 800 win percentage last time. All right, Cheeky, you've opened up a 10.5 game lead over the Dodgers. Gwynn average, yeah, 395, 394. Winfield leading the league in home runs. Winfield second in OPS. So we're at the All Star break. You're at a 755 win percentage, which is good for second in the majors behind Twins' Twins. Elcat says Kent Herbeck's on a 60 home run pace. All right, so let's just see what's going on with the All Star game here. Adrian Gonzalez third votes for first base. Tatis Jr. second in votes for shortstop. Winfield leading the votes for left field. Bip Roberts second at center field. Wait, didn't we move him to the reserves? The AI brought Roberts back. So I think we may have to. I don't understand why it's making roster decisions without human permission. So they started Winfield or Vaughn and brought Bip Roberts back. Yes, that looks like the case. The same problem that is causing the September call ups is probably causing them moving Bip Roberts off of the reserve. It probably was we're short, right? And so it might be that when you don't have enough players, that the AI overrides to force it to add a player. At least it added from the reserve and not from minor leagues. Gwynn is leading the votes in right field. Yeah, so they filled the empty spot. It probably has a directive that like it won't let an empty spot stay unfilled. No starting pitchers got are in the top five of the votes, and neither are your relievers. Okay, let's see who got chosen for the game. That's the AL. There's the NL. Kevin Brown, manager's choice. Dave Roberts, manager's choice. Adrian Gonzalez, manager's choice. Ken Caminiti, manager's choice. Ken Caminiti hitting 345 with 18 bombs. Tatis Jr. and Gwynn voted in. So I think that's six, including one voted in. Oh, seven. Winfield got voted in. Oh, and Robert. Wow. Wait, do you have 8 All Stars? Let me go back and count. Brown is 1. Roberts is 2. Gonzalez is 3. Are we on an ad break? Caminiti is 4. Tatis Jr. is 5. Winfield 6. Roberts is 7. Gwynn is 8. Yeah, you have 8 All Stars. 8 All Stars. That's pretty good. I think that's more than Twins or Nolan had in the AL. Of course, they were fighting each other for All Star spots too. So Finley's not in, but Finley's probably not getting ABs. Okay, let's sim to the end of the month. Nolan's Mariners are dropping. They're back down to 600. Okay, you're at 79 and 31, 718 win percentage, 8.5 games ahead of the Dodgers, and best record in the National League. The Twins are still killing it, 87 and 20, but they're down off their 900 win percentage from last time. And the Mariners are way down. They're under 600, 65 and 45. Still second best in the AL, but way off of yesterday's pace. Okay, we'll do another month to we'll go to roster expansion and we'll see what happens. So before we were 25 and 26 and the computer felt the need to fill that spot. Then in roster expansion, that denominator increases again, I think, to 40. So now it feels like it has open spots again. All right, so you're 99 and 39, 717 win percentage, second best record in the majors. You're only 4 games behind Twins. Um, here's what I want to do. I want to sim a day to take us past the roster expansion date, and then I'm going to check your roster and see if they added anybody. Okay, they did not add anybody, so that's a good sign. This is what I thought by doing shorter sim periods, we might avoid that roster expansion issue. I will sim to the end of the regular season. 100 wins. Oh, Alcats, is Merrill Kelly on the roster? 115 wins with 1 to go. So let's go ahead and sim that. All right, 115 and 47, Cheeky. Okay, so it didn't add anyone at roster expansion date. You have an extra pitcher, though. Oh, that's okay. Alcats is saying Sim made a trade for Merrill Kelly. Kelly was the number 5 starter. Yeah, so did that happen on roster expansion day? Let's go to his history. Was traded. Was traded for Steve Finley. Okay, the AI is not supposed to be making trades. It's very clearly here, like these are supposed to be under human control, including trades. All right, so I need to figure out what's happening there because last night we had roster expansion pickups. Now we had a trade, which to me is worse than a pickup. And Bip Roberts causing problems. But it's extra concerning that it's a trade because that definitely seems like a line farther than just signing a free agent or bringing someone up from the minors. So actually, let me go back to that trade. If we look at Steve Finley, yeah, he got one at bat. Well, he played one game. He got four at bats with the Padres. He got in one game and then got traded. But I don't think he got traded till when was the date on that trade? He got traded at the trading deadline in July 31st. So he was riding the bench. He played only one game all season until July 31st, and then he got traded to the Diamondbacks. So the AI does not like Steve Finley for some reason. So Caminiti did not get. He played about half the season. I guess what Machado got all the starts at third. You have a feeling this is gonna be more difficult than that? No, I don't think so. I think it's just a box that needs to be checked or something. We just need to block it from doing certain things. I think the only thing complicating it is when I do the sims, I'm usually only simming one team at a time. And so I've always been able to find the right box to check. I think this one's harder because we have three teams in here. It can only recognize me as the GM and manager for one of them. And so, if I look at the Mariners, they might have even had more crazy stuff happen. So let's go check out the Mariners. Okay, this is good. I thought they would have more craziness going on here, with more people added or something. Oh, something happened here though. They have an opening in their lineup, so someone's missing. Yeah, because they're down to 13 players. I wonder if they picked up a pitcher. No, they still have 12 pitchers. Let's look into their. You can look at transaction log for your team and see all the trades that they've made. It looks like they traded somebody, but I can't seem to find a record of it. Oh, Jay Buhner became a free agent, so he lost. So that's weird. So Cheeky, you might be right because I think this thought I was running the Mariners, and because it thinks I was running the Mariners, it didn't pick up. It didn't fill that free agent spot. But because your team was technically being run by the AI, Cheeky, I think it. So I need to. What I need to do is I know what to do. I can go into the. I just need to create other human managers and basically say the Padres are being controlled by a human manager, so don't make any trades and don't make any transactions. So because it thinks I'm running the Mariners, it didn't fill this hole in the roster when Buhner was left as a free agent. But when you had a hole in your roster, Cheeky, on the Padres because we moved Bip Roberts, it didn't think it had a human GM. And so it filled that spot. So all I have to do is make sure I assign a human GM to each team. So I think we figured it out. I will test it tomorrow. It's getting too late for me tonight, but I will test that out tomorrow. So let's go back and check out the stats real quick. Oh yeah, keep thinking on the Mariners. We got to go to the Padres. So yeah, Greg Vaughn hardly played at all. Check out Winfield. Winfield hit 300 with 52 bombs, 999 OPS. Yeah, Vaughn is not playing. It looks like Soto's the DH. Soto's DHing. Winfield's in left. Gwynn is in right. And Bip Roberts is in center. I think the other thing we could have done, instead of just forcing Bip Roberts to play second, is we could have probably forced Finley to play center. So this is good. I think we learned a ton. We got your roster in. We just have to make a change. I don't know. I think you can probably keep Roberts. I think maybe if we force start Steve Finley at center field and give it a human manager, I think some of this stuff goes away. So you want Bip Roberts to be a backup utility player, is that right? And you want Finley to start at center? Like, what happens if I load the save for this game? Oh, it auto saved it. It auto saved it. I can't go back. You want to see Caminiti's stats? Wow, 1013 OPS. Where did his at bats come from, though? Because Machado had a pretty full season. He had 581 plate appearances. So where did Caminiti play? Um, Batting stats. I want to see his starts by position. Yeah, I was trying to see where he was playing in the field. Oh, Machado filled in other positions. That might be. Yeah, and then Caminiti might also have gotten some play at DH. The game log show position? No, I don't think it does. Yeah, to me, Winfield's the real eye opener here. You had a lot of low average, high home run guys in this lineup. Adrian Gonzalez, 43 home runs, 267 average. Um, who else? Machado, 26 home runs, 267 average. Tatis Jr., 40 home runs, 265 average. Even Soto, 22 home runs, 261 average. Then, so Winfield and Caminiti are the only ones who really provided power and average. Gwynn only hit 373. Bip Roberts, though, you want to get rid of him, but he hit 334 for you in 664 plate appearances. I mean, no wonder the AI wanted to start him. He had Bip Roberts had 200 hits. Yeah, you don't know what Finley would have done, but I mean, it's tough to beat 334 and 202 hits. Right, I would have called this a successful test, especially since I think now I know why the AI is messing up some rosters, but it's not messing up the ones that it thinks are run by the human. So I think we're good. What is his field? Bip Roberts fielding? I mean, it looks good. Nothing terrible. Nothing great. All right. And then who ended up? Oh, we should do the playoffs. All three of our all three of our teams are in there. All right. So the Rays will be facing the Twins, and the Dodgers won the right to face Cheeky's Padres. All right. Let's do the next round. All right. The Mariners sweep the Orioles. The Twins squeak by Tampa Bay 3-2. The Padres get past the Dodgers 3-2, and the Braves get past the Cubs 3-2. Every series went 3-2 except the Mariners sweeping the Orioles. Ooh, tough battle in the NL. The Twins gentlemen sweep over the Mariners, and Cheeky wins a 7-game series against the Braves. So it's gonna be Cheeky's Padres versus Twins. The Mariners are a fall team. Maybe they have a bunch of Clayton Kershaw's, bunch of regular season heroes, maybe. All right, I'm gonna send these one at a time. All right, it's PV against Johan Santana. Yeah. Oh yeah, it says lost because it thinks I'm still running the Twins. Oh wait, does it now think I'm running the Padres finally? I think it finally thinks I'm running the Padres because it says loss. So Minnesota wins 5-4. What happened there? Bottom of the eighth. Took the lead in the bottom of the eighth. See what happened at the bottom of the eighth. Oh, for some reason, it's not letting me see the game log. That's weird. I've never had that happen before. Oh, it's well. Wait, if it thinks I'm running the Padres, it should still show it to me. I don't know. I can't figure this out. I think things will get better when I assign human managers to every team. I think that'll solve some of this stuff. All right, let's go to game two. Yeah, we don't like this because Merrill Kelly is not supposed to be on this team facing Burt Blyleven. Oh, a tough loss, 2-0, two hit. Padres got two hit by Minnesota. Merrill Kelly actually pitched well for you. All right, got a travel day. Then there could be a start of a three-game homestand for the Padres. Walter Johnson against Kevin Brown. That's a bummer. You got to face Walter Johnson in game three. Ooh, but the Padres win 5-3. Fall behind pretty quickly 3-0 in the first, but then tie it up in the third. Pull ahead in the sixth and add an insurance run in the seventh. Yeah, Kevin Brown 3-1, 1.80 in the postseason. All right. Uh, Twins up 2-1 on Cheeky's Padres. And another win by San Diego ties up the series, 2 games apiece. Despite 2 home runs by Harmon Killebrew. Gossage got the win in relief. All right, it's PV against Santana again. This time in San Diego. Ooh, another win in extras. The Padres, let's see, it was San Diego took a lead 1-0. Minnesota pulls ahead 2-1. Top of the eighth, Minnesota pulls ahead 5-1. San Diego tightens it to 5-4. Minnesota pulls ahead 6-4. Padres tie at the bottom of the ninth to go to extras, and then win it in the bottom of the 10th. Wow. Two to tie in the bottom of the ninth, man. All right. Padres have the lead now. Yeah, you can compete. All right, we've got back in Minnesota now. It's unfortunate that you have Merrill Kelly on the mound. Not part of your plan. Ooh, 4-1 loss. Another two-hitter thrown against San Diego. Okay, that ties it up at 3. There's the deciding game. Yeah, let's watch highlights. Highlight cannot be loaded. Please check your highlight settings in the game stream. Global settings. Oh, I wonder if this is why I couldn't see game logs either. It's probably only well, but now it thinks I'm the Padres. Yeah, generate game logs for human teams. So for some reason it thought it wasn't a human team. Generate highlights for human teams. Okay, so yeah, I think I'm right. I think when we make the computer think every one of our adjusted rosters is managed by a human or as a human team, then I think these things will sort themselves out. So I guess we can't do highlights then. All right, I'm gonna uncheck it. You ready, Cheeky? I'm gonna uncheck it. Here it goes. Oh, 5-4, bottom of the ninth. Walk-off win by Minnesota. Walk-off win by Minnesota. Sometimes it says how the walk-off happened, but and we don't get a win probability graph because it thinks it's not a human game. Man, we don't even get to see what happened. We just know it's a walk-off. Do you think you could take the Twins if your roster didn't get AI to death? Nah, it's possible. Although it looks like it gave you a gift in that Bip Roberts season. That was a heck of a season it gave you. All right, well, let's screenshot this and send it to Twins. So let's finish the day. Get that trophy out there. But you're right, though. I mean, it would be nice to see it eventually. We're gonna do this. Yeah, Merrill had two L's in the World Series. That's for sure. But yeah, despite all that, you made it to the World Series and you took it to Game 7. So in the unofficial playoffs. All right, I think that's good for tonight. I'm actually going to get to bed at a reasonable hour if I can finish my drafts quickly. Let me find someone to raid into. Yeah, Finley traded is crazy, but now I understand why. You have two drafts to do. I think I have six. I have two 5Ls, two bagels, and I think a couple of other random. Are we the only one on the Park 25? I think we are. We are. You're in bagel. I'll see you in bagel. I'll have my main and my alt will be in bagel. I didn't know that. Well, I knew that you couldn't have two teams from the same account in the tournament. I mean, I guess it makes sense because there's no way for them to know. If you buy a second account, you can then have two teams in the same tournament. Um, well, I guess that was a silly thing to say because there's no way for them to know who's. Oh, should we rate in a baffle since no one's playing OTP? Let's do that. I'm going to rate in a baffle 99. Baffle is if anyone else is in the chat, Baffle is he streams lots of sports games, but he also plays OTP, and we see him pretty often lately in our OTP streams. Hey, Cheeky, hope you had fun. Let me know what you decide about your roster, okay? Um, with the understanding that I'm going to find a way to make every team have a human manager, so some of the stuff that you saw happen tonight won't happen. All right. Hey, good night, Elcats. I hope you had a good time.